and welcome to the Pig and Whistle Tales from Azeroth. As always here at the Pig and Whistle Inn in Stormwind, I go through a variety of subjects with regards to World of Warcraft. So grab a bottle or a pint, sit back and enjoy. Today's subject, we're going to be going over endgame content within World of Warcraft. More specifically, we're going to be looking at PvP and raiding are the two biggest ones that stand out, but other things that you can do like at endgame. Before we get into any of that, we're going to be going over the weekly sort of events. So the Battleground bonus event for this week was meant to be Toromil versus South Shore. Yeah, that didn't quite happen. Or the brawl, should I say, not the bonus event. The brawl should have been South Shore versus Toromil. But it's been converted to a Wrathy Blizzard. And this is because of many bugs within South Shore. So it isn't scaled right. So everyone zoned in and they were level 69. The NPCs weren't scaled right. All the NPCs were level 40. When you exited the battleground, your level 40 talent was taken away from you and you had to relearn it. So there were many different bugs, all very funny, but they just switched out for a Wrathy Blizzard, and I'm sure the Toromil and South Shore one will be thrown in at a later date. You heard me say before, but it is the Battleground bonus event this week. So if you've got any quests or you wish to grind some honour to gear up some characters, now is the best time to do it this week, as you get more honour for losses just in general in all of the battlegrounds that you go into. The world boss for this week is the one in Revendreth. It is Nurgash muck formed. It's a giant dredger, pretty much. You know, a dredger, one of them ones. So get on over there, get your conduits, get your good pieces, maybe get a piece of gear for your ult or something. Who knows? Make sure you get that anima though, that 250 anima from that world boss. Do not miss it. The Mythic Plus affixes for this week are Fortitude, or Fortified, sorry, not Fortitude, Fortified. So the mobs, the non-boss mobs within the dungeons are a bit tougher to deal with, so possibly use some cooldowns on big mob packs if you are going to do so. Spiteful is when you kill the mob, it will release a shade, and this shade will target one random person to go after. You just kite the shade, you root it, do whatever. They'll die off after 5 to 10 seconds ish. Grievous is a healer problem mainly. If you drop below 90%, you basically have a ticking dot that will stack up consistently if they are not topped up above 90% HP. So healers, keep an eye out for that this week. And as always, it's season 1 still, so it is still prideful. You get the pride mob every 20% of the trash that you clear. So nice and easy, get that buff before the boss. You'll easily one-shot the boss on non-tyrannical weeks. There is a couple of micro sort of holidays coming up. So the first micro holiday is Ungoro Madness. So just head down to Ungoro Crater and see all of the dinosaurs going absolutely crazy and ballistic. And you have the Trialer Style, which is coming this week on the 20th to the 24th. So if you're looking to do a few things and show people all of your amazing transmogs, all of your fashion senses, definitely head into the Trialer Style and get going. Obviously, there's some currency for the Trialer Style, and you can get different transmogs out of it, like set bonuses and sets. So definitely look to complete that this week as well. Now, moving on to the main sort of bulk of the podcast, we're mainly, with endgame content, you're looking at two things at the big picture. You've got PvE and PvP. Now, there are obviously some smaller things within the PvE, there's some smaller things within the PvP, but you've also got sort of collecting items, you've got battle pets, you've got, you know, many different things for endgame content, but there are two big ones that are PvE and PvP. So when you hit max level, obviously you're not going to be the most geared. You're not going to be the most geared at all. You're going to be about, if you buy all the gear off the auction house, about 158 item level. Now, 158, if you've got a group of friends, easily you can just stroll through a Mythic 0 right now, get up some item levels, absolutely just power your way through and get about 180, item level, boost yourself up and stuff. And then you've got the tough thing of going into Mythic Pluses and making sure that you time them. So with PvE, you've got two different sides to it. You've got the raiding side and you've got the dungeon side. Now, personally, the dungeon side has always appealed to me a lot more ever since they introduced Mythics. In Legion, they introduced Mythic Dungeons or Mythic Plus. So, ever since Legion, and ever since, Mythic Plus as a whole, the PvE side has gotten a little bit more tempting to me, but PvP will never be surpassed, in all honesty. So let's talk about the Mythics first and the dungeons. You can gear up just through dungeons. You can set yourself goals within these Mythic Plus times. So obviously Mythic Plus it starts from Mythic 0 and it can keep going. It can just keep going. I'm sure that there's a hard cap somewhere. It would be, I would have thought, in the 50s or something, because it's like ridiculous. I would never dream of anyone, doing a plus 50, in all honesty, in like their same season. It would be absolutely ludicrous. You can challenge yourself to push these mythic keystones. So the higher the number, obviously, the tougher it gets. But you get certain achievements when you hit certain milestones. So if you do all of the mythics within, like a plus 5 mythic, all of the mythics within plus 5 and in time, you'll get an achievement. That's very nice. If you do it for mythic 10s and you complete all of the dungeons on a mythic 10 difficulty or higher, you'll get an achievement and a little title. But if you complete it on 15 on all of the dungeons, you'll get a mount. So there's sort of 3 different stages in which you can push yourself. It's like, I really want that mount. I'm going to do my absolute best to get that damn mount, and I'm going to be amazing at mythics. No one's going to stop me, that kind of thing. If you just want the title, 10's a lot easier. You're more laid back with everything. That's fine. And 5's is just sort of, you're very lackluster about it. It's very, I've got this. Like, I'm getting the hang of it. It's not something that I overly enjoy, but I'm going to, give it a good go as it is anyway. So you can obviously set your own goals within Mythic Plus dungeons. I set myself, this is me personally, I set myself to get the mount. So the Mythic 15s. This took me over about a month to sort of grind, because what people do is I do play with a group, but it's quite rare that group is online all at the same time. So I did have to pug, I think, all of my Mythic 15s. Yeah, I think all of my Mythic 15s or 16s. It didn't really matter which one, as long as it was over 15. I had to pug all of them. And this was a slow process, because there's something called Raider.io, or Rio. And what this does, it basically puts a little number to your name, and it determines how good you are at these mythics, like what your score has added up to be, like, for these mythics. So for a Mythic 5, like, say you complete a Mythic 5 dungeon, you'll get a score of 80. Yeah? So when you've completed, I think it's 10? Is it 10 dungeons? No, it's 8. It's 8 dungeons. So say you've completed, all of them on Mythic 5 difficulty, all 8 dungeons. Yeah? You've got suddenly, 8 times 5? Christ, my maths is not what it was. But, you know what I sort of mean. 8 times 5. Am I really this dumb? 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. Yeah. Okay, 400. So, yeah, you'd have a Raider score of 400. Guys, my brain absolutely just froze there for a second. But yeah, you'd have a score of 400, and this would determine whether or not people would want to take you in a group for, say, like a +10, because they can see what your most, or like your best timed dungeon is for that dungeon, and if you timed it or not. So you've completed a +5, and you're applying for a +8, and people can see if they have the add-on as well and stuff, or they could just look at it on Google. They can just see what, if you completed the dungeon within the time, what's your highest key completion of that dungeon, which is a 5. And that's basically what they base off taking you or not. That and your class sometimes. But the higher the Rio or Raider IO, the more chance that they're going to pay attention to you in that long list of DPS, in that little list of healers, and in that very short list of tanks. It's what's going to separate you from, everyone else, almost. It's going to give you that shine factor, if you were, like, out of everyone. You're going to be the one that catches their eye. It's kind of like applying to a job. Your CV's got to look very presentable, and it will catch... If it catches the eye, then... if your a CV catches the eye, then you're in, because it's very rare that, if it doesn't catch the eye, it's just straight in the bin. So, but this is kind of a very tedious process, in my opinion, because you're constantly looking there. I can't tell you how many hours I've just spent watching YouTube whilst searching for a group. Overall, I say I spent a good part of a day, 2 days, just, sat in Oribos, which is the capital city, just searching for a dungeon, and obviously getting declined, etc. And if you get declined, you don't really have to take it personally. People are just bitches, people cry about anything. You just take it on the chin, sign up for the next one, keep watching your YouTube video. It's not that tough, in all honesty. But yeah, it takes a while to, get to these goals. So my goal for the 15 Keystone, it did take over a month, because I slowly had to increase the dungeon on which I did from a 10, timed a 10 mythic, to an 11 mythic, to a 12 mythic. I had to do each individual one. Sometimes you jump up 2, sometimes you jump up 3 if you're really lucky. But you had to slowly progress and get that score higher and higher, so that you stand out more when you're going for them +15 dungeons, +16 dungeons, that kind of thing. So the goal is very doable, solo, if you are looking to do sort of the mythic 15s and stuff and higher. I mean, some people go absolutely bonkers. They have teams that literally just push a key as far as they can go. So, some I see push keys to, +22 plus. They'll go absolutely crazy, and they'll be within a second of completing it, and they'll get a 23 key and trying to push that. And, this is where they really just want to go for it. It's this is their goal, to go as far as they can with the key, with the current gear that they can get. Absolutely push the boat out, and do whatever they can to time these keys to be the top, almost. Because it is an impressive feat to time something like that. If you're looking at the average player, they mostly average about +10s. So to push it double that is absolutely ludicrous. The amount of time and effort that you're spending there doing these massive... you're planning your route, you're planning when to use cooldowns, you're planning how to do this, you're getting the right composition. It's ridiculous. Some people really do just, go overboard with the mythics. It's fun to watch, but to me, to actually push that sort of high on mythics would be infuriating, and I just wouldn't be able to control my anger at that point. So looking towards the other aspect of PvE, you're looking at raiding. Now, raiding and dungeons do go hand in hand. You need dungeons to gear for raiding, and you need raiding to sort of flex to join some higher dungeons, if it were. So raiding, there's multiple ways to go about this. You've got the looking for raid, you've got normal difficulty, heroic, and mythic, obviously. So with raiding, you're obviously going to start out on the normal difficulty just to get some gear. The top end guilds will power through normal difficulty and go straight onto heroic, get the best gear as quickly as possible, that kind of thing. But we'll start off with looking for raid. So looking for raid, obviously, it comes out a couple weeks after the original release date of the raid. So if it came out on November 24th, it would come out 2 weeks later for looking for raid. And with looking for raid, it's locked behind a weekly schedule. So the first tier will come out 2 weeks after the initial raid launch, and then a week the weeks following, it will release a new tier. There's usually about 4 or 5 tiers, depending on the size of the raid, obviously. But the latest one has 4 tiers, so over the course of 4 weeks, it will come out, if that makes sense. So, obviously, you can do it that way and just sort of farm the transmog for looking for raid. Or you can look to join sort of pug groups with normal difficulty. Now, this is obviously a bit riskier because the boss mechanics are a bit harder. You actually got to respect it. And, if you don't perform well, they'll probably kick you, depending on if, the group leader's friendly or not. It depends if they're a guild run, if they disband or not, that kind of thing. So, joining a normal raid or normal difficulty raid is possible, and many people do it all the time just to get a little bit of gear, just to get some experience in the raid, know the tactics. You can sort of chill out on your own within a normal raid environment. You can just watch some YouTube on the side if you know what you're doing, or it's just a light way to throw you into raiding and PvP or PvE end content. With heroic, you're obviously looking at a bit tougher. You're looking at different mechanics, tougher mechanics, and you're looking at more guild orientated stuff. So heroic is usually when a guild would be, you'd want to join a guild run because it's, better communication. They know what they're doing. They're not necessarily going to disband after one wipe, that kind of thing. You definitely want a guild if you're looking to progress in like heroic raiding or even, God forbid, mythic, but we'll talk about that in a second. So heroic, obviously better loot, but a lot tougher. It's a massive step up from like normal. So you got looking for raid and normal, which, is a slight difference. It's a little bit tougher. The mechanics hit harder. You got to respect it. The jump from normal to heroic is a bit bigger. It's like a massive lunge instead of a step, as it were. But again, you're rewarded with better gear, better conduits, better everything. And it's an experience. I did Heroic Sire with a guild that I've recently come across. We're kind of half friends. Like the two people that I play with mostly are friends with the guild, so I was sort of a tag along. And they were progressing Heroic Sire Denathrius. And this is the last boss of the raid instance. And, spent about 2-3 hours wiping. I joined quite late, so they had already spent about 2 hours wiping previous to me. So they've spent about 4 hours, 5 hours just wiping to the same boss. Eventually, we kill it at something like 11:30 at night. Everyone's cheering, everyone's tired, everyone's absolutely ecstatic. There was 2 people left alive on the Sire Denathrius boss. It was just a Death Knight and a Rogue left alive to kill him at 1%, and they did it, which is really impressive. And it's one of the most fun ways to kill a boss when there's like everyone else is dead. You've got 2 people left alive. They're throwing everything at it. It's a good kill. It was good fun. So you're obviously looking at like guilds when it comes to like higher end PvE content. And that leads us on to Mythic. Now, Mythic is purely guild only. Purely guild only until there are until the halls have been sort of filled. So halls of fame. So the Horde Hall of Fame and the Alliance Hall of Fame. These are the top 100 guilds, but for both Horde and Alliance, to complete Mythic difficulty in that raid tier. Once the Halls of Fame are up, then you can progress Mythic difficulty on with people from different realms and from outside of the guild. So obviously having a heroic achievement to your name, so killing heroic Sidon Aphrius, who is the last boss, will allow you to get into sort of more mythic groups, because you can flex that to them. It's like, yeah, I've killed him on heroic, now let me into the mythic because this is the next stage up, that kind of thing. But mythic is a massive step up, completely. You've got top end guilds who go for like race to world first, wiping at like 600 wipes. Like 600 attempts on this one boss, slamming your head against it over and over and over. You might like die when he's 99%, just because you called a wipe because someone died super early somehow. It's ridiculous. So Mythic is sort of really high end if you really want to push it. It's kind of like the Mythic Keystones that I said. It's if you really want to push, that 23 key, this is what you want to do. You want to do Mythic raiding instead. It's that kind of equivalent. So you've obviously got the Mythics, the raiding, all are very good. Obviously it's all PvE, so it's all mechanics based and everything. You're dodging stuff, you're learning where to position yourself against certain mechanics, what to do, whether to soak this or not. Like, learning timings pretty much. But the same can be said for PvP, to be honest. But let's look at that a bit. PvP. So PvP, there's not much to really discuss. If you're looking at PvP as a whole, it's the biggest part of it would be the arenas. Battlegrounds are good. They're very nice. They're very relaxing. They're good honor gain. They're good ult gearing system. Now with the PvP vendors back in place for Shadowlands. But if you're looking at PvP as a whole, you've only got arenas really that you're looking at. So arenas are obviously 2v2, 3v3 or rated battlegrounds, which is a 10v10. So it's kind of like the Mythics again. You're looking to push a certain rating. And this rating will give you certain benefits, certain upgrades, certain cosmetics. So with the seasonal mount, you've got to get to 1400 rating, and you've got to win whilst above 1400 rating to get percentage towards this mount. At 1600, you get some appearances, transmog appearances for the PvP set. And at 1800, you get the full PvP set, which, is very nice. I do like the PvP sets for this season. At 2100, you'll get like a weapon enchant look, you'll get like a just like a back cosmetic. At 2400, you earn the gladiator status. You get a mount, and that mount is very cool. That's kind of it. So people are looking to obviously push gladiator each season. Some people might go a little bit simpler. We're just looking to push something like 1800 to get the transmog. I personally play with my sister. And my sister and I, we don't have the best composition. We're a balanced druid and a disc priest. Not the best composition at all. Not something that you'd take into an arena, mainly because they share diminishing returns with their crowd control abilities with Cyclone and Fear and Mind Control, etc. We just do it because we're comfortable with each other's play styles. We know how each other play. We know each other's classes and what spells we have, etc. So, and no one ever wants to play with us. So, oh well. But we've recently been trying to hit 1800 with this scuffed composition that we have, and it's taken us so long. We've been bouncing back between sort of 1790 and 1700. We've been bouncing back and forth for about a few weeks, actually. And we got it last week. So this allowed us to upgrade all of the gear that we had. It allowed us to get the transmog, which we absolutely adore, which we both still have the transmog on now because it is so cool. And this sort of was our goal, to get the 1800, get the transmog, upgrade all of our gear. It really helps us out. It pushes our item level up. And then we'll look to go again very soon once we've upgraded all of our gear with Honor. Now, again, we could have given up easily. We hit 1799 and then dropped down. We hit 1798 and dropped down. It was painful sometimes. But you make your own goals within the PvP or PvE aspect of the game that you want. And with making them goals, once you've achieved it, there's always something to do next. There's always another goal. It's either with Mythic 15s, you go, yep, I'm done. That was my goal. I'm happy with that. I'll try it again next season when it all resets and there's a new mount, etc. Or it's, I'll keep going. I'll see how far I can push, these mythics. I'll see how high I can get my Raider score. Same is said with Battlegrounds. Or arenas, sorry. Once you hit that rating, because once we've hit 1800, we're like, okay, this is good. We have an idea of what we want to do. We want to upgrade all of our gear that we can. So we actually ran out of Honor. So we're sort of in the process of earning Honor to upgrade our gear before we, lose the 1800 title by playing again. So we're upgrading our gear and then we'll look to maybe push something a bit higher. Maybe we'll look to just 1900 next. We'll look to 2000. 2100 is a big target, but it is doable. So there's many different things that you can push yourself onto within both PvE and PvP aspects. You aren't just sort of limited to where you complete your objective, you complete your goal. Now, if you were to go past the PvP and the PvE aspects of stuff, there are other things that you can do within World of Warcraft Endgame. So with hitting max level, obviously it's a lot easier to, level battle pets. It's a lot easier to be a collector of sorts, whether it's collecting mounts, whether it's collecting all transmog, all pieces of gear. It's ridiculous. There's an add-on that tracks everything in the game. It tracks every piece of loot from every dungeon, every world drop, every raid, every quest. Now, people have completed that. People have made it to max level and gone, I want to complete every transmog. I want to get every weapon. I want to collect everything. They want to become a collector. And they've done it. I have seen people, a couple of expansions ago, or an expansion ago, finish that. All 10,000 items within the game, or whatever it is, they have collected it all. And that's impressive. That's really impressive, because that's what they wanted to do. They hit max level and thought, yeah, this is my goal. I'm going to do this and I'm going to achieve my goal, which they did. And that's amazing. I mean, you can do so many things within WoW, whether it is making your goals. But, take this one, for example. There was, obviously, as a Pandaren, once you go through the starting zone, you get to choose whether you want to go Alliance or Horde. And this is, you basically can't continue unless you pick a faction. One guy managed to hit max level with a panda without picking a faction, with being factionless. The way that he did it, after he did every quest on that island, the Wandering Isle, all he did was a mine and herb. Now, that's absolutely bonkers. So, if you're obviously mining and herbing give you XP, but to do this to max level, so I think this was during either Legion. I think this was Legion. So Legion, you have a level 110 character is a max level. From level 10, or we'll give him the benefit of the doubt, if he did every single quest on that Wandering Island and killed, a load of mobs, he'd be about level 15. Yeah, he'd be level 15 by the time he ran out of quests and stuff. So from level 15 to 110, he's just mining and herbing. And obviously, as you go up levels, the XP that you need increases. So you're getting about 50 XP for both mining and herbing these herbs and minerals. So if you find one herb, 50 XP. Nice and easy. And for the sake of this, we're going to say, to ding level 20 from 19, you need about 2,000 XP. Nice and simple. It's one of them things. So to get to that level, the amount of herbs or minerals that you would have to hit is ridiculous. So you got 50, 100, 10... I don't know. Oh my God, my maths is so off tonight. I don't know why it's so off. But you're looking at, I think it's something around 20. I want to say 20. No, 40. God, oh my God, it was so simple, the maths. You're looking at about 40 herbs to pick just to get up this one level. And herbs are quite tough to come by because obviously people are going to be leveling their professions as well on this island. You're obviously going to be scattered about a lot more. They're not going to be in massive clumps. You're not just going to walk into a field and there's going to be hundreds of peace bloom just ready to pick. So he's running around this entire Wandering Isle for days. I would say to pick 40 peace bloom and ding, it would take you about an hour. An hour of just running around, right-clicking this herb, picking it up and dinging. So to go on to level 21, 22, 23, all the way up to 110, obviously with the XP increasing, even if you just increase it by 1,000 each time, you're looking at a ridiculous amount. You're looking at 20 more herbs just to pick from a 1,000 XP increase. And that that just stacks up all throughout leveling. But this dude set his goal to not be with a faction and to hit max level. And he fucking did it. He absolutely did it. What an absolute madman. This dude was just picking herbs and mining. And what Blizzard did, they actually put a character in the game because of this man. So in Legion, they introduced the class order halls. And each class got their own order hall, as it, suggests. In the monk one, it was the Wandering Isle. It was the giant turtle that, Pandarans start on. And on the Wandering Isle, there is an NPC that just wanders about and mines and herbs. And this is a reference to this guy. And to have your goal, come back, or to have your goal be seen by Blizzard and be seen as a massive achievement, so much so that they put you into the game as an NPC, must be a great feeling, because he set his eyes on that goal, he completed it, and he's got massive recognition for it, and it's just amazing. But again, there's so many things that you can do endgame wise for WoW. You've just got to make your own sort of assessments on what to do with it. Because from the outside, it's, you PvP or you PvE. But you can do so much more with the game than just them two main things, really. Again, you can make your own goals within the PvE and PvP sort of setting. But you're not limited to them, as it were. But again, it's what you make of the game. It's how you want to play the game. Nothing will ever change how you feel and how you play the game, pretty much. It's what you make of it. So thank you all very much for listening, as always. I really appreciated the fact that you have so many options available to you, but you come back each and every week for some more Pig and Whistle Tales. It would really help out the podcast if whatever platform you're listening on to rate or comment. It really helps out. It shows your support for the podcast. And if you want to check out any social medias, Facebook, Twitter, please do head on to the Pig and Whistle website. All of the social media links are there. It is www.pigandwhistletales.com. So head on over there. You can listen to your podcasts from there as well. You can get a little video on why I do the podcast, why I want to do the podcasts. And yeah, just keep up with the social media as well. Absolutely everything is on that website, so do go and check it out. Thank you all very much for listening. As always, take care and go with Valor, friend. Goodbye all. Thank you.